Our Katha is taken from the Ramcharitamanas, the Holy Ramayan. We have heard many Kathas emanating out of the Ramayan time and time again. The smallest of child will be able to tell you about the epics or the Kathas that comes from the Ramayan, because we are so familiar with the words of Goswami Tulsidas Ji. But this evening, there is a beautiful discussion happening between Lakshmi Devi and Bhagwan Vishnu in Vaikunt. And Bhagwan Vishnu has noticed something. He has noticed something and he has drawn the attention of Mahalakshmi to what he has noticed. Bhagwan Vishnu has noticed that Sri Ram down on the earth, he is becoming weary. He has noticed that Sri Ram down on the earth, a manifestation of Bhagwan Vishnu, is becoming weary. And so drawing the attention to Mahalakshmi, Bhagwan Vishnu, he asks, what will Lord Vishnu do? Lord Vishnu summons a being to come to his abode, to his home. He invites a being to come to his home. A being you and I will never want to invite. Bhagwan Vishnu invites Yama, the god of death. Anybody here wants to die? Anybody here wants to die? I asked the birthday boy a few nights ago, how long do you want to live for? And he looked at me and he smiled. And he said, well, for a long, long time. And I said to him, well, you would live until you're dead. But until that time, you have to learn how to live and how to enjoy each day as though it is your last. Because we never know which day will be our last. In the very same Vishnu Puran, Narad Muni looked at Bhagwan Vishnu one day, and Narad Muni says, Bhagwan Vishnu, tell me when is a good day to pray, and tell me when is a good time to pray. And Lord Vishnu smiled. And hearing the request of Narad Muni, Bhagwan Vishnu, he replied, and he says, Narad Muni, the best day to pray is the day that you will die. And the best time to pray is that minute just before you will die. And Narad says, God, how will I know when I will die? How will I know that time when death will come? And Bhagwan Vishnu says, exactly my point, Narad. You do not know when you will die, and you do not know what time you will die. So do not waste any time. Pray every single moment of your life. Let your life be like a prayer, like an offering to Bhagwan. Bhagwan Vishnu has summoned Yama, the god of death, and he has given an instruction to Yama, the god of death. Would we not be happy if we could give an instruction to the god of death to tell him when to come or tell him when not to come? Would we not be happy to have that privilege? But tonight I want to tell you that death stands in front of our face and death stands in front of us continuously, many times along the journey of our life. And God gives us chances time and time again. But do we use those chances to become better? Or do we use those chances to become worse than we were before? This evening, Bhagwan Vishnu has given an instruction to Yama, the god of death. Yama bows to the feet of Bhagwan Vishnu, and leaving Vishnu Lok, where is Yamraj, the god of death, about to go? Goswami Tulsidas Ji begins to write. Yama, the god of death, leaves the abode of Bhagwan Vishnu, and Yama takes on the disguise of a holy man, a sadhu, a brahmana. And taking the form of a sadhu, taking the form of a brahmana, Yama, the god of death, he enters into the kingdom of Sri Ram. He enters into the palace of Sri Ram. And as he enters into the palace wearing this disguise, he looked like everybody else. This evening, what does that look like? This evening, what does that look like? Members of the group say, what is play for the children is dead for the crapple. Have you ever heard that before? What you might think is a big joke might be something that is very detrimental. Yama, the god of death, takes on the disguise of a holy man, and he makes his way, he enters into the mahal, into the palace of Sri Ram. And entering into the palace of Sri Ram, he meets with Lakshmana. And Lakshmana, seeing him, Lakshmana identifies that this is the god of death. Lakshmana bows to Yama, the god of death. And the god of death says, Lakshman, do not worry. I did not come here to meet with you. And Lakshman smiled. I did not come here to meet with you, O Lakshmana. I came here to meet with Sri Ram. Standing next to Lakshmana was Lord Hanuman. And Lord Hanuman, hearing these words, he became very inquisitive. He wanted to know why the god of death will want to meet with Sri Ram. He wanted to know. And Hanuman stood there. And Hanuman, afraid of the god of death, Hanuman said no words at all. Absolutely nothing. He uttered no words. Yama looked at Lakshmana and he says, "Oh brother of Ram, promise me one thing, that when I go to sit and have my discussions with Ram, you will not allow anybody to enter." We are good at giving instructions. Are we good at following instructions? Do we know how to follow instructions? We like to give instructions. I say, the doctors say to you, take one pill 3 times a day. And you say, well, I don't know if I can forget, so I'll just take the 3 one time. Taking on this disguise and entering into the room of Sri Ram, Yama and Sri Ram, they sit together. Their discussions have started. And so both of them, while talking, what will happen? Something happens. Listen. In a distance, Lord Hanuman and Lakshmana, they saw a Maharishi, Durvasa Rishi coming. When Hanumanji saw the god of death coming, he didn't run. But when he saw Durvasa Rishi coming, he started to run. Why? Because Durvasa Rishi, he was a person who was known to become angry for nothing. Do you know anybody who becomes angry for nothing? Anything happen, they vex. You try to do good, they vex. You do bad, they vex. You just don't ever know how to please them. The rainfall, they vex. The sunshine, they vex. They vex with the whole world, and they vex with God, and they vex with everything, and they vex with their own self too. Do you know anybody like that? Anytime you see them, their face like a kachori. Swell up. Do you know anybody like that? Don't answer. Durvasa Rishi was known for that quality of becoming angry very easily for nothing. For the most pettiest, insignificant thing, Durvasa Rishi, he'll become mad. Tonight I want to tell you, don't live your life being mad. Don't live your life being mad with somebody who doesn't even care if you're mad. You're mad and you're vexed and you're angry and you're eating up yourself, and that person living their life unhappy. Who is the fool? Who is foolish? Don't waste your time and waste your energy to entertain the thought of hating anybody. By hating somebody else, you're only hurting your own self. By hating somebody else, you're only hurting your own self. So don't even think about hating anybody else. Because the time and the energy and the effort you spend on hating somebody, you could do something to help yourself. Earlier today, I tried to do something that I thought I could do. I tried to take a nail clipper and cut my toenail. And then I realized, oh God, I must be very fat. I could hardly reach my own toe. And then I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to wait till somebody tells me that I'm looking fat. I'm going to do something about it. Tonight, no roti. And maybe tomorrow night, no roti. But the night after that, I'll die. I need roti. Durvasa Rishi was coming. And as Hanumanji saw Durvasa, Hanumanji disappeared. Because Hanumanji did not want to have any encounter with Durvasa Rishi. Good, noble, pious, intelligent, divine beings never want to be in any conflict and any confusion and any petty, insignificant thing. Good, noble, divine, pious beings only want to be in the company of satsang. They only want to be in the company of truth and in the company of happy people and in the company of joyous people. And so, Durvasa Rishi making his way, when Lakshmana turned around, Hanumanji had disappeared. Lakshmana is left alone with Durvasa. Have you ever been left alone with somebody who comes to your home and you really don't want to entertain that person? And everybody leave you and you're left with that person alone? Have you ever encountered a person who came to your home and they wouldn't go home? Don't answer. Have you ever had a conversation with a person and you're trying to hang them up and you say, well, we will talk later now. We'll talk tomorrow. I'm in work. I can't talk for much longer. Or I'm busy. I can't. And they say, well, I just want to tell you one more thing. And every time you try to hang up the phone, they want to tell you one more thing. Wait now, one more thing. Only one more thing I want to tell you. Tonight, Durvasa Rishi stands face to face with Lakshmana. And what Durvasa Rishi is about to say, listen, it tells us. Durvasa Rishi stood face to face with Lakshmana. And Durvasa Rishi says, Lakshman, I'm happy to meet with you, but I want you to grant me permission. I want to meet with Ram. Sri Ram has given the instruction to Lakshmana that nobody will come, and here is Durvasa asking to meet with Sri Ram. You ever tell the child, if anybody come, tell them I'm not home. And the child go, Mommy says she's not home. Somebody call on the phone to talk to you, and the child goes and come back and say, Mommy said to tell you she's sleeping. You ever hear a sleeping person talk? Well, there's some people who talk in their sleep, you know. Like me. I talk whole day, so I talk whole night too. I'm talking in my sleep too. Durvasa Rishi looks at Lakshmana and he says, Lakshmana, I'm happy to meet with you, but I'll be even more happy to meet with Ram. I came here to meet with Sri Ram. And so Lakshmana looked, he bowed his head, and Lakshmana is thinking about what to say to Durvasa Rishi. He's thinking about what to say, not to make Durvasa Rishi angry. Have you ever thought about what to say? And you plan what to say, and when the time comes to say it, you get tired up and you don't know what to say? Has it ever happened to you before? Durvasa Rishi, he looks at Lakshmana, and Lakshmana is wondering, what can I say? And as Lakshmana begins to wonder, listen to what Lakshmana says. Lakshmana puts his hands together and he says, well, Durvasa, you came, but you came at the wrong time. And so you will not be able to meet with Sri Ram now. Can you come back? And Durvasa Rishi looked at Lakshmana and he says, Lakshmana, do you have any idea how busy I am? Why are you saying to me, come back? Do you know the effort I made to come here? Do you know how far I walked from to come here? Then why are you saying to me, come back? There is no way that I can come back. I must meet with Ram now and at this moment. And Lakshmana says, well, I cannot allow you to meet with Ram. Durvasa Rishi becomes angry. He becomes upset. What do we do when we become angry? Then, what do you do when you become angry? Quarrel? Scream. Mama, what do you do when you become angry? Mama take her fingers and she's doing like this. Who you beating, Mama? Who you beating? When the time of licks comes, I don't know about you, but I'm the first person to run. I am not standing to take any licks. And if I know there is a fight, I am not parting any fight. I am sorry. Fight and sort all yourself out. I am not getting involved. At all. Durvasa Rishi looks at Lakshmana. And Durvasa says, Lakshman, you must allow me to meet with Ram. And Durvasa says, no, you cannot meet with Ram. You would not be able to meet with Ram. You must come back. And Durvasa Rishi, out of anger, he begins to talk. Our scripture has declared that there are several times you should refrain from talking, and I have said this many times before. When you're well vexed, you need to learn how to take your finger and put it on your lip. When you're too happy, you need to learn how to take your finger and put it on your lip. When you're very hungry, you need to learn how to take your finger and put it on your lip. And when your belly too full, you have to learn how to take your finger and put it on your lip, not talk. Durvasa Rishi, out of anger he speaks, and Durvasa says, oh Lakshman, today I put a shrap, I put a curse on you. Your ego is so big, O Lakshman. Today the sharp, the curse I put on you is, may you leave the earth and may you go back to the heavens. Indirectly, he is saying to Lakshmana, may you die. Would you ever want to wish that somebody dies? Have you ever wished that somebody will die? Talk the truth to you in prayers. You ever prayed for somebody to die? Hello? Did you all? I want you all to answer me and answer truthfully. Did you ever pray for somebody to die? Well, tonight I want to tell you a little secret. The more you pray for somebody to die, the more long they will live. The more you wish that somebody will die, is the more long they will live. Tonight I'm telling you from my heart that when you wish somebody will die, you're dead and they're still living. So don't waste your time wishing for nobody to die. And the more you pray for somebody to live, is the more they will die. So now I'm not telling you that anybody you want dead, pray for them to live, you know. Durvasa Rishi, out of anger, he spoke and he says, Lakshman, may you leave the earth and may you go back to the heavens because of your ignorance. And Durvasa is calling Lakshman ignorant. You and I, it is so easy for us to point out everybody else's fault. But how perfect am I? How perfect am I? We're laughing at everybody else's children and you can't control your own children. You want to talk about everybody else's daughter and everybody else's son. What about yours? Well, Baba, mine's in a class by themselves. You're right. You ever hear plenty book sense and no common sense? Now we have plenty people walking around with plenty certificate and they can't tie their own shoelace. Plenty book sense and no common sense. It's a pity they never gave a certificate in common sense yet. Durvasa Rishi, placing the sharp on Lakshmana. Lakshmana bent his head because Lakshmana knew that he will die, and Lakshmana moved away. He moved away. Tonight, if you have not yet recognized, I want to remind you that one day we will die. Do you all know that? One day we will all die. Do you all know that? Nobody knows when and nobody knows how. But what is certain is that all of us will die. And so Durvasa Rishi, placing the shrub, what will happen? Listen, it tells us. Lakshmana, he bowed his head and Lakshmana moved away. And Durvasa entered. And when Durvasa entered, it's as though Durvasa wanted to backpedal and leave right away. You ever go to a place and from the time you enter, you start to feel so uncomfortable that you just want to walk back out? Have you ever experienced that before? Hello? I'll tell you one of the things about Trinidadians. You're real hospitable, you know. But when you're ready to treat somebody bad, oh God, you know how to do that real good. True or not? Talk the truth, you're in your gear. You like somebody and you're real like them, you know. But the minute you ain't like them, you know what happened? Narayan, Narayan. Durvasa Rishi entered into the room very boldly. And when Durvasa Rishi saw the god of death, Durvasa Rishi stood there. And it was as though Durvasa Rishi was like a block of ice in the hot sun. He started to melt. He became frightened. And Durvasa Rishi wondered what he will do. And Durvasa Rishi stood there very silent. And he started to listen to the discussions of Ram and Yama, the god of death. You ever hide and listen to what somebody's saying? You'll never do that? You ever play your sleeping just to hear somebody else's conversation? Hello? Did you ever do that before? You ever talking to somebody and in the middle of the conversation they fall asleep and you have to wake them up? And you say, but me don't talk and you're sleeping? Wake up. I always tell, and it sounds like a joke. We went to India and everybody was very, very exerted and tired. And we walked for long distances and we went to the Aarti on the Ganges and it was night. And everybody was very tired. And my aunt who is here, Auntie Pam, on the Ganges, she bought an Indian movie on DVD. And she called the reception and she asked them to bring up the DVD player. She wants to see that movie before she goes to sleep. Everybody's tired, everybody's showered, and everybody in their bed. And you only hear Indian song and the movie is on. And everybody's saying, let's watch it tomorrow. And she said, no, I have to watch it now. And as soon as we put it on and the first song comes, she's sung asleep, snoring. We fast forwarded to the end, where they're showing all the names of all the actors and the characters and everybody else. And we wake up, I shake her, and I say, how was the movie? She said, that was movie. It was real nice. That was movie. All of us, we had a good laugh and everybody went to sleep. I don't even know if she looked at that movie up till now. I have no clue. She's here tonight, we'll find out. I don't even know if she looked at that movie after that, or if that movie looked at her, I'm not sure. Durvasa Rishi, he stood there very silently, and Durvasa Rishi started to listen to the conversation that was happening. And listening to the conversation, Durvasa Rishi gathered that Ram was about to leave the earth and go back to the heavens. Tonight, Durvasa Rishi observes that Lakshmana walks into the river and Lakshmana will not come back out. Siyavara Ramachandra ki Jai. For those of you who are here, when you look up, you will see the hostess and the host. The purpose of having this yajna is to celebrate. On the first day, we celebrated the Janma, the birthday of the host. He celebrated his 16th birthday. And tonight, we are celebrating the anniversary of the host and the hostess. They're celebrating their 15th wedding anniversary. Can I ask you a question? I'm afraid to ask, but I'm going to ask. If you had a choice to get married again, will you choose him? I'm going to ask you a question. Don't be afraid of her. She can't do you nothing while I'm here. Afterwards, maybe. If you had to get married again, will you choose her? I feel I put you on the spot, you know. I asked last night, I said, tell me where you all met each other. Should I tell this story? Should I tell this story? Both of them met each other, not in Trinidad, but in New York. He was coming off a train and she was going on to one. And when he saw her, though he was coming off, he went back on. He dropped his wallet right in front of her. She wasn't smart enough. She took it up and gave it back to him. And both of them, they found a connection. When he called his mother and he said, Ma, I saw a girl, I want to get married. The mother said, over my dead body. I want to see. Is she good looking? She must look like me. She must be able to cook like me. She must be able to wash like me. She must be able to treat you like me. Because every mother will want that for their son. Every mother will want that for their son. But it so happened that she met her and she liked her and they agreed that there will be a wedding. They agreed that there will be a wedding. The wedding was where? Right here? Trinidad? The wedding was in New York. Friday evening in New York. It was chilly, cold. Oh, it was snowing, she said. But they have a problem. They done freezing cold and it can't patch. Because the place so cold, snowing. So the same Mousy says, she said, well, you know, you had to change that song for that lawa to patch. And Mousy say, you have to sing a different song. What song they singing? Bole bole murukuwa kukuruku, bole bole murukuwa. Well, lawa patch was so real lawa. So after they patch the lava, Saturday evening comes to an end, is Sunday morning, morning of the wedding. All the ladies put the tray back on their head and they can't go fast, so they go right in the yard because it's cold like cold snow. And the ladies singing, you know what they're singing? The tassa playing and the ladies singing. Motor, motor, lava milai, saki lava milai, saki lava milai. Motor, motor, lava milai, saki lava milai, saki lava milai. That's where they go and the ladies take the... Boys don't go to that. Boys don't go to that. That's true. I went already. They take the lava and they throw it from the urni of the mother into the urni of the puwa and they mess up each other with sindoor and they dance and they have a good time. And then they play the tassa and they go back home. But then mother, she dresses her son like a king. And she places the pugri on the head of the son like a king. But before she put it on his head, she has to play a little smart. She had to put it on her head first. Because she has to show that she's the queen first before he could be a king. And after she takes it off her head, she puts it onto the head of her son. And as the groom sits in the wedding car, the mother of the groom holds the head of the groom and pulls it to her bosom. And with tears in her eyes, she sings to her son. Tuta puta jala puta gauri piyahana gauri piyahana dulaha ke maya na bola dulaha ke maya na bola. She said from today onwards, you're going to give that girl Diana all your love and you're going to forget you have a mother. I want you to give me back all the milk you drink from my breast. No, give it back. That's what the mother says to her son on the day of the wedding. She said, when you get your wife, remember and remind your wife that without me, she wouldn't have a husband, you know. So she has to bow to me first before she could learn to love you. She has to love me first before she could learn to love you. Because without me, you have no husband. And so the Dulaha sits in a car and the wedding car goes to the home of the Dulahin where the ceremony will take place. But when Joey reached to the ceremony and he saw the Baba, you know what he told the Baba? He said, no long ceremony, you know, Baba. I rent a limo and I rent a hall and everything is by the hour. This is New York. So short ceremony, as short as possible. So Baba, tell them, put the sindoor quick. So they couldn't find the sindoor, just like on the day of the wedding, but they find it now. So Joey is placing the sindoor, just as he did on the day of the wedding. But you see, Gaura Parvati Rakaraj mere sindoor ki Shiva Shankar ki pyari Gaura Parvati. So they place the sindoor on the head. The Dulaha on the day of the wedding places the sindoor 7 times on the forehead of the bride. And he's saying that may you be my bride not only in this lifetime, but may you be my bride in 7 lifetimes to come. And after they place the sindoor, Baba has to follow the instruction. So now they place the mala. Siya dali Ram gale jai mala, Siya dali Ram gale jai mala. So after they do the mala, they exchange their rings and all that they have to do. And after doing the exchange of their rings, and Baba gave the registry to Joey and he says, sign this book, boy. And Joey take half an hour to read the book. Baba said, I thought you hurry. And Joey said, well, I had to read while signing. This is New York, you know. I can't just sign. And so Joey, reading and reading, Baba said, tell me what you're looking for, boy. And Joey said, Baba, well, I'm looking for the expiry date on this form. Joey, that's one book when you sign, boy, well, you're in real trouble. Till death do you part. And so, after signing the book, what will happen? They go home. They sit in the wedding car to go home. And while sitting in the car to go home, they're playing this song. You know what song plays? जाने वाले दुल्हन खुशी खुशी बाना, लेकिन निकनाता जाता दानी निभाना, हम दुखियों को भूल जाना ना, भूल न जाना. This is not the actual wedding video. Posted a picture after. So, after they place their rings, they sit in a wedding car, just like they're sitting here next to each other. And after sitting to each other, you know what happened? Next to each other, Diane's mother hold on the car and start to bawl and cry in the snow. And Joey said, Mama, what are you crying for? I go bring she back to look for you. Don't cry. And she said, oh God, boy, Joey, what I'm telling you? Me ain't crying for she, I crying for you. Your trouble now start. Diane can't cook and Diane can't wash. You have a washing machine. You have a laundromat close by. And she started to interrogate Joey. Joey said, now you go tell me? After I'm done married, now you tell me? This evening, to both of you, I want to wish you God's blessings. This evening, to all members of the family, to all of those who have helped and contributed in whatever way, I want to say God's blessings to you. And this evening, I feel like saying what I said last year. This is not the last yagya you will have here. I can tell we will have more yagyas in the future. And this evening, I want to tell you that Joey, your father will be indeed proud of you for taking this initiative of celebrating here in your home, where you were born and where you were grown. And without a doubt in my mind, I know your pitras will be happy. The souls of your pitras will be happy. It tells us when we have yagya, not only us, but 7 generations before us and 7 generations after us reap the merits or the fruits out of having a yagya. And I know you could have celebrated in many different ways. I know your friends might still have celebrations planned. But this evening I want to say, put God first and everything else behind, and life will be smooth sailing, life will be peaceful. This evening I want to wish you all God's blessings, and may you continue to grow from strength to strength. This has brought us to the end of our yagya and our katha this evening.